All right. Let's jump into the controversial part. I see some of these comments here in the chat, guys. It says, Steve in the chat. Steve knows the policy. Love it. Look at this. Parsons is the most held defensive player in the NFL. It's not even close either. It is not even close. Jen Wright says we need a stat for the most missed holding calls. Boy, good luck with that, Jen. That would be impossible to gather because they have been one after another. And so let's just jump into that. This is the segment we saved for the end here. And this is obviously going to be talking about the officiating. And it's easy to go, well, it's just Bears fans complaining. No, it's not just Bears fans, guys. This was all across social media, multiple people, right? I'm going to start the party off with my tweet here. And this one, again, this is everybody who's raking Keyshawn Nixon over the coals for this penalty should not have been a penalty, first and foremost. Now, I love that Matt LaFleur still disciplined. He sat him, right? He brung it up in the post game, but then also gave credit where Keyshawn rose to the occasion at the end. So I think Matt LaFleur taught a master class there on how to handle this situation. But I'm going to play a quick video. This was what got Keyshawn Nixon penalized. I want you to notice here, he's walking back to where our defensive huddle is. The Bears are on the opposite side, right, to Keyshawn's left. They're supposed to be huddling up over there. And you had a guy that made comments, Luther Burden Jr., made comments.
Rookie? Is that a rookie running his mouth?
What a
all week long made comments. You could tell he was going to go out there and just be the mouthy one, right? And you see he's hanging out near where our huddle's supposed to be. 14's coming to get him like, hey, Luther, stop talking, right? So he's in Carrington's face talking trash of where our huddle's going to be. So Keyshawn walks up and tells him, get out of the huddle, right? That first of all, that's not a penalty. If he's talking, we're allowed to talk, right? No. He's telling him, get out of the huddle, right? DJ Moore hanging out over there too, by the way, trying to provoke him. So he grabs Keyshawn by the throat.
What? Oh, my God.
He grabs Keyshawn by the throat.
Yeah, so naturally this is a penalty on Keyshawn, right?
Yeah. And now Carrington comes in and gets between them like, get out of here, dude. Get his hand. He didn't even punch him. He pushed his arm off of Keyshawn's throat like, get out of here. The Packers get flagged, and specifically Keyshawn Nixon got flagged right there for that.
This is terrible.
Absolutely wild that got called that way. And I know I'm a Packer fan. I'm biased. I got you, right? Well, let's go across social media. Dan Orlovsky even tweeted out, the officiating in the Green Bay-Chicago game is so bad, right? You've seen it all day long. Now you go, okay, well, that doesn't say that the Packers got the calls. Look, what were the overall penalties? If somebody will pull those stats for me, because it wasn't even close how many
4
times.
4 of 17 for the Bears, 6 of 55 for the Packers.
There you go. So literally, what, almost 50 yards differential in yardage from penalty yards. And I bring this up not to, we're complaining about the officials, but it's to point out if those calls hadn't gone that way, right, and we hadn't got screwed by the officials, you probably win this game by 10 or 14 points. Yeah. So that's why I feel way better about where this team's at. Now let's continue going. Let's go to Scoot's dad. What did Scoot's dad think on X, right? And listen, Scoot's dad will be critical of the Packers. If you guys follow him, he'll rake the coaches over the coals. He'll rake a player over the coals. He calls it like he sees it, whether you agree with him or not. This is his honest opinion. What's going on? He quote tweeted Dan Orlovsky and said, "Bad is an understatement. The Packers are playing against the Bears and the officials and still winning 14-3." So again, that's what kept the Bears in the game. Imagine if these calls don't go for the Bears and the Packers go up by 3 scores. Guess what happens now? Caleb now has to become a drop back passer because the Packers are no longer going to key in on the run as much, right? It's going to become a more one-sided game. So we had them really where we wanted them. And again, the officiating really came into play here. Now let's move along to someone else who's not a Packers fan. Jordan Rodriguez, who done the Play Callers podcast, actually covers the Rams, I believe. That's her primary position. Let's see here. Yeah, the Play Callers and Finding Rams. So she covers the Rams, 84,000 followers. She even tweeted out, "I'm not a but the calls person at all, but did Parsons not have an arm wrapped around his neck there for a while?" So you've got the national sports media members tweeting out from their own accounts like, are y'all seeing what these officials are doing to the Packers right here? It's absolutely wild. Now, I went and took a screen grab or a picture of the specific play that Tom Brady was talking about, which was wild to me. Tom Brady said on the broadcast, "How does Caleb Williams continue to get away?"
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe because Micah Parsons is getting choked. Look at this. No call on this play. And somebody say, "Oh, it's a rip move." It ain't no rip move. Micah doesn't do rip moves. You don't see him rip. He literally dips and speeds underneath. He may bring his arm up a little bit to keep his balance, but he's not using the rip move where they can hold. And regardless, you've got a Bears offensive lineman with his hand on the throat of Micah Parsons, not his arm hooked around his neck, literally his hand on his throat, on his Adam's apple, holding him from getting to the quarterback. No call across the board. It's absolutely wild, man. And then Coach LaFleur was asked about it. You'll give me a screen grab here, Tim. Coach LaFleur was asked about it after the game. And here is what was said by Coach LaFleur on the officiate. And then we're going to go around the horn with everybody else. He literally sounds like he's at a loss for words, right? And all I said was join the club, Coach. Here we go.
I think it is a difficult job, but, I guess I don't know what holding is anymore because I thought that was pretty clear and obvious hold, but I guess I don't know what that means.
And that's the only way you can answer, right? Like, what the hell is a holding call now? Again, they can no longer use the excuse, Jacob, of the officials, right? The officials, or not the officials, but they can no longer use the excuse, oh, it's a rip move. It's a rip move. Not every pass rush is a freaking rip move, right? Explain what's on the screen right now, Amelia.
Is that a bag of dirt?
That is a bag of dirt on a football field with the bag is actually striped black and white. But yeah, some good calls from that thing today or yesterday.
Again, the fact that you dominated the first half, Tim, we'll start with you. You dominated the first half, right? And then you've seen the officials kind of keep them in the game the whole time. You still win by 7 points, covering the 6.5-point spread against a team that was first place in the division and fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC as a whole. You overcame the bad officiating at home of all places, right? You're supposed to have a little bit of a home field advantage at Lambeau. I say this not to harp too much on the negative aspect of the bad officiating, but to me, I'm fired the hell up because you overcame that, Tim. You still came out there with the dub, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to choose my words carefully here because this whole conversation pisses me off. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. I'm tired of pretending that it's bad officiating. How do you not see that? How do you miss the call? Hey, it's intentional. Let's just say what it is. It's intentional. You're ignoring things. You're tilting games. It says everything you need to know that the league will fine anyone who dare says anything bad about the refs, yet does absolutely nothing about the dumpster fire that NFL officiating is. And we'll say it that way. It's not just us. There are other teams that get screwed on a weekly basis. I'm not going to sit here and pretend anymore like, man, how are they so bad? It's not there. It's intentional. This is intentional neglecting of what you should be doing on the field as an official, which is call the game as you see it and let the players decide the outcome of these games, not trying to, keep the Chicago Bears in the game because, well, they're down 14-3 at Lambeau. We can't let this get out of hand.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. And, I'm not going to pretend anymore. It's not bad officiating. There is an agenda and there is intent behind what's happening. I'm convinced of it now.
Yeah, and to Tim's point here, Amelia, I want to get your take on this. H.E. Solder in the chat said, are we looking at this wrong? Should the Packers just go with the chokehold pass blocking technique? That's what I said a few weeks ago. I said, you know what? The hell with it. Everybody hold. On offense, hold. If they're not going to call it, hold. We did that, and we got flagged for holding. And then yesterday, of course, as Chester Marco points out, it's almost impossible for the long snapper to hold. LOL. We got called for a holding on the long snapper on a freaking punt. And what did he do? He had two guys he was trying to block. He put a hand here and hooked his arm on the other guy, just kind of holding him back, right? Which is a hold. But he didn't have his hand around his freaking throat.
No,
and what's
holding
crazy
on
is
every play.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So if you're going to call it both ways, right? That's all we're asking.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's holding on every play. The fact that you're able to call it on a long snapper as he's kicking back on a punt. Come on now. You're getting real nitpicky there. You're really choosing on what you want to call. And yeah, you're the fact that they had 4 penalties under 20 yards. It was like, okay, no, we gave the Bears some penalties. It's not like we didn't, but ours were, almost 10 yards of penalty. Theirs were like 3 or 4. So exactly. It's just, you can turn it quick with that hidden yardage.
Yeah. And as Dave Fish says here, Jacob, could it be that the NFL wants a competitive Chicago team? It is so obvious they want the Bears in that large market Chicago. They want the Jets in the large market New York area, along with the Giants. They want these large market teams to be competitive so bad. You're not going to be able to convince me that that's not going on behind the scenes. Like in any way, shape, or form that you can prop it's why the mainstream sports media, what do? They're always propping the Bears up. Oh, this is the year. This is the year.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they build a bunch of hype around a large market team, there's going to be a ton of casual fans in these big cities that are going to flock to watch their network and get fired up for the Bears. And then the second it falls apart, they go back to doing whatever the hell they want to do. If they're in Miami, they're going to go to the beach. They're going to go hang out there, right? If they're in Chicago, I guess they'll take to the streets and act like a bunch of idiots. That's what seems to go on in Chicago most of the time. Again, it's mind-boggling to me. And we've got a lot of Packer fans that are embedded in the Chicago area, and they tell me this stuff. It's not just this is Clayton in Tennessee or Tim in Green Bay or Jacob in a small town in Wisconsin. This is like common knowledge. This is what's going on with the big market teams. And it absolutely sucks. And again, I've always defended against the conspiracy theories, Jacob. I know you pressed into them a little bit, but it's getting it's getting more and more difficult for me to just go, no, come on, guys. Yesterday, you had an official. I will never forget. I froze when I paused it to get a screen grab off the TV. I paused it, and there's an official staring right at Micah, who's got an arm around his neck.
Yeah,
and it's like, you cannot tell me you didn't see it. You're looking right at it. Yeah. What are you doing? And Micah stopped complaining. Micah used to go to the officials and go, "What? Can I get a hold?" He just stopped. He said, "I'm just over it." He said it yesterday in his post-game whatever interview. He's like, I'm done trying. Like, what do you do
now? Mike is just gonna have to just hang on to the hand, fall over like, dude's choking me. I need you to sell it now at this point. I need you to LeBron that thing up for me, Mike. Get really sell the thing like you've been choked out. You can't breathe anymore. Because they're not going to do anything about it unless he literally is coming off the edge and just collapses because, dude, and then just sit there, fall on the ground for 5 minutes as you can't breathe. I mean, we need to get something to sell it to them to really be like, all right, we can't just keep letting this slide by like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
I think it's probably because I know for a fact that Clayton, obviously Tim, we care about this league in this game so much that we don't want to understand or don't want to admit that maybe there could be someone's thumbs on the scales to this point anymore. If you guys are going to be good at it, be sneaky about it. At this point, it feels like it's not sneaky. It feels very obvious. And that's to me where I think that it's being really almost offensive to us as in our intelligence. To Jen's has no tin hat foil required anymore. It is what it is. To Chuck's point, WWE with a football. I mean, if you look at it, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the fine print in the NFL rules. They said it isn't an entertainment business, and that if they need to do anything to make the entertainment factor more or less qualifiable, that they can basically do whatever they want to do. I just to me, it's getting to the point where it's egregious, and the fact that we're sitting here talking about how Micah needs to learn how to act. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
You know what I'm saying? And to your point, I watched it last night. There was multiple times. Legal hands to the face apparently isn't a thing anymore. Like you said, having a chokehold. I mean, to the point where he's wrapped his arms around him and he's not going for a rip move, just literally trying to get around a guy, and he's got him locked in. Like it's getting ridiculous. And I really just wish that they would just. I saw some other people in the chat saying that they need to be full-time refs. Will that help? I don't know. Like, they're full-time scammers. Okay, cool.
Right. And here's Chester Marco. Great point. He says Green Bay is an absolutely enormous national fan base, though. That's a great point. But here, you're not looking at it from the right angle. The majority of the media money that's shared, because and you got to tip your cap and give a shout out to the Mara family. Way back in the day with the Giants in New York, they could have taken all of that media money for themselves, but they decided, let's spread it throughout the rest of the league, right? Let's spread it throughout the rest of the league. That way, we can keep some of these smaller market teams up like that. It's deeper than this, Chester. Chester says Green Bay is an absolutely enormous national fan base, though. But the majority of the media money come from those large cities. So you want to keep them happy for business, right? You want to make sure their teams are propped up. That's what's going on here. And isn't it ironic that the large market teams are the ones that have been the worst? The Jets, the Giants, the Bears, right? And like even in Dallas, I'm sure Dallas has got a fairly large media market down there as well. They've been that way. When was the last time they won a playoff game? Was it been like over 30 years or something? Right.
So they've had to hook to the coattails of the Chiefs, right? You know, that have just been running it ever since. Small town team, you know, middle of the country sort of thing. But you can hop on, you can grab onto that because they won so much recently.
You know what I don't get is to the credit here of Andy, take away their pay. Okay, well, so if the players can get fined, when's the last time a ref got fined for absolutely blowing a game or graded? Never. What are we doing? There's an easy, simple way to stop this kind of nonsense. Like, and then you talked about, remember, I can't remember, it was just a couple of years ago, the guys that should have never even been eligible for refereeing in the playoffs because of how bad their calls were throughout the year. And then they just get to ref a game. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Uh-oh.
Wasn't me.
Yarr.
Wasn't me. Tim, you got anything else you want to add on this, bro?
No, I can't talk about this anymore without cursing. So
all right, there you go. Soder said he will. Soder with the super chat. Reminder that the Referees Association contract expires May 31st, 2026. That explains some of this. Interesting. Okay. And again, this thing, there's levels to this thing, right? There are levels to it. I just want the game to be pure. And I'm coming to the realization it's never going to be 100% pure. I mean, especially with what just happened to the NBA, right?
I was going to say.
That was
the
right
MLB.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a look at these refs and how much money they had on these games? You know.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Tim, it's eventually going to happen.
I think so.
It's eventually going to happen. Now we got to be careful here because there's going to be a political aspect that comes into play, and why the NBA got caught, but the NFL hasn't yet. If there is something there. And again, this is all alleged. Nobody's saying that everything's fixed. And we're just saying it looks bad. Like, I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. Listen to me, NFL. You're not fooling anybody. This looks really bad. Please fix it before it becomes an absolute joke, because that's what's next. People are on. They're looking up, going, okay, you guys keep turning your head like this isn't happening. You've got Matt LaFleur will probably get fined for that. By the way, that's how it works. Oh, you talk about the fish? Shh. No. But then you can go on NFL Network and watch the analysts rake individual players over the damn calls. That's okay. But you're not allowed to point out that an official missed the call. That's just absolutely insane.
Crazy.
So, yeah, thank you for the super chat there, Soda. Appreciate you, buddy. So, all right, that's it. We're out of here. We're way over. I'm hoping that Mandy isn't awake yet. It's 11. She's awake. Oh, no. That's going to be me right there. I'm going to be in the front yard. I'm going to be out there in the creek with a boat like a pirate trying to survive. You know what I mean? I'll build me a ship out there. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know what you think about the officiating. Are we overreacting? Maybe we're overreacting, man. Maybe we see it different than most fans. Maybe that's the case. But let us know in the comments whether you agree, disagree. Maybe there's a penalty that should have been called that we didn't mention. I'm sure there was a couple on the Packers that maybe they got away with too. But boy, oh boy, anybody who watches that game, if you look up and go, oh boy, the officials helped the Packers. That's not what the number said. It's damn sure not what the tape says. But let us know what you think. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. And that's going to do it for your Victory Monday. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We had a bunch of people in here. If y'all would smash that like button before we get out of here. We may go live again in the early afternoon. We'll see how the day unfolds. We'll definitely be back tonight, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. We'll give you all the PFF grades and let you know which players really did perform well. Emilio, give them one little nugget. Is there a player that comes to mind based off the prelims last night, just off the top of your head, that stood out that you said, oh, they look like they're going to have a good grade? Was there anybody?
We had Evan Williams was the 86-2. He was highest by 15 points on our defense. Then Christian Watson was number 1 with the 83-6. We had 4 in the 80s, Christian, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love, and Luke Musgrave. So we'll see how those kind of end up tonight here.
Yeah, definitely. Andy Dubs in the chat. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Go Pack Go. Thank you all. If there were nobody watching, commenting, and hanging out with us, Victory Mondays would suck. The listeners, the viewers, you are the ones that make this so much fun on Victory Mondays. So again, the Packers get the dub 28-21. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you all this evening, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. My name's Clayton. This PTA. That's Emilio. That's Jacob. That's Tim. Go Pack Go.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.